Now, if we look back, our first step was to isolate a variable. And this problem was so nice, it already had the variable isolated. But we're not always going to be that lucky. Sometimes we're going to have a situation where they're both in standard form. So no variables by itself. Our first step is to isolate a variable. So what I need to do is I need to isolate a variable on one of these two equations. Doesn't matter which one. You can use either one. But I'm going to try and get a variable that already has nothing with it, that I can get by itself. So we have -5, 3, -5. There's nothing in front of this y. There's nothing in front of it. We know from the past that there's actually a 1. We just don't always write it, which is all right. But since that's a 1, I'm going to solve for that variable. I'm going to solve for that y. So I have this equation, -5x minus 1y equals 12. I need to get the y by itself now because I'm trying to isolate the variable. Add 5x. That equals -1y equals 5x plus 12. 12 doesn't have an x, so they can't be combined, so we get 5x plus 12. Still need to get rid of that -1. I'm going to divide by -1. Y then equals 5 divided by -1. It's -5x. Plus 12 divided by -1 would be -12. Or minus 12. And now we have that y by itself. This shouldn't be the first time we've ever got y by itself. We've done it plenty of times before. But this is our first step in using substitution, getting it by itself. So now, this is the same as this equation, but we have a variable by itself. So now the next step, we're going to substitute in an entire equation. So now I need to use the other equation. These are the same equations, so plugging it into it doesn't help us. We need to plug this equation in to the other equation. Man, I'm saying equation a lot. But we need to plug this isolated y into this equation. So I get 3x minus 5 times y. But now, instead of using y, my y is -5x minus 12. I'm going to plug that into this equation. X minus 12. Finish this up, equals 4. Then I'm going to simplify. So I get 3x. To get rid of the parentheses, I need to distribute. I have a -5, so -5 times -5 is 25x. -5 times -12 is positive 60. That equals 4. 3x plus 25x. 28x plus 60 equals 4. Subtract 60 to both sides. Those cancel out. We get 28x equals -56. Get x by itself now. Divide by 28. X then equals -2. We now have step 2 done. We have plugged in our entire equation and simplified. Now step 3, I just need to choose a random equation. It doesn't matter which equation we use. And plug in our x equals -2. So I'm going to use the second equation, 3x. So 3 times -2 minus 5y equals 4. Solve for y now. -2 times 3 is -6. minus 5y equals 4 plus 6 negative 5y equals 10. Divide by negative 5. 10 divided by negative 5 is negative 2. So y equals negative 2. We get x equals negative 2 and y equals negative 2. I wanted it in ordered pair. X, y, or my x is negative 2, and my y is negative 2. And then I now have a solution that works for both equations. That makes them both true. This is the conclusion of this video, solving by substitution. Feel free to watch it again. Feel free to try a problem in your book on your own. This is a kind of equation and a kind of problem that will take a lot of practice. So we are going to practice more in class. This isn't just me showing you and then you're going to be on the test. We're going to spend a lot of time practicing it in class. But feel free to watch it again.